Test one, two, and we are live. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you happen to be in this fine world. I do appreciate you joining and spending some time with me to discuss Splinterlands, episode 136. Yes, that's more than 2.5 years of discussing Splinterlands on Saturday morning for my Saturday morning stand-up special. How's everybody doing this week? I've been a little bit active in Splinterlands this week. I think I like to start off these shows saying what I've been doing. Most of what I've been doing has been around preparing for the land cards. I put out a video last week and it was met with some tepid, reactions. I knew there was going to be some... I knew I was going to step on some toes, but I had to put my opinion out there. But with that said, I still am preparing to at least get one or two of the cards. We'll see where we go. And my goal is to try to get at least one max level grain card. I'm also trying to prepare for a wood card, which is rare. I'm not promising that I will be able to get it to max level, and I'm not making any promises. We will see how it pans out as far as, they're going to take a snapshot of how everybody's staked out, your production level, and go from there. The first 3 days of the land card sales, you'll be able to buy a certain amount depending upon the production power of your lands. I don't think that's going to be my limiting factor. The limiting factor is going to be how expensive the cards are. Now, with that said, we've talked about that on and off. Several different people have done videos over the last week. But one topic that came up, and it continues to come up whenever I do videos about land, is the fact that I'm... what do I want to say? I'm not really looking forward to the whole salt mechanism. And when I start talking about that, as my thinking is, it's just going to be another level of costs with land. We'll dive into chat here in a minute, but I wanted to get this out there because one of the topics I want to look at today is salt and the desalinization process. I've got the Land 2.0 white paper pulled up. We can take a look at it because here's the deal. Every time I talk about that, I always get people in the comments section saying, you are wrong. You're looking at it wrong, and we are looking forward to the salt process. So later on in the show, we'll go ahead and take a little bit of a read through the white paper on that and talk about that. And if you have any definitive opinions, in other words, you've really studied the process and you have a definite opinion, let me know in the chat. Otherwise, let's go ahead and take a dive in and see who is here. As always, Gathering the Magic, thanks for stopping by. Says, good morning. Happy end of season. Got my first 2 legendary reward cards. No gold foil, though. I came up empty this week again. 2 weeks ago, I got a card, and then the last 2 draws, I have got nothing. I've got a mouse without pants on, like Emmy was talking about in Discord here a few minutes ago. Snowball says, nice work, Gathering. You couldn't wait until Tuesday. So talking about the draws. Crypto Beaver's here. Welcome to the Beaver. Snowballs is here as well. Let's see here. Gathering says, not going for chess, just draws. I'm leaning that way too, although I'm guilty of buying a couple chests. That's the whole gambling thing, right? And at the risk of getting my videos flagged right up front, nothing in this video or this live stream should be considered investment advice. I am not an investment advisor. I try to cover games as from the gameplay perspective. Anything I talk about you should do your own homework on. So that's another topic that's coming up. Let's see here. That'll be Monday. The new community guidelines go into place on YouTube, and us YouTubers find out how hard we're going to get hit. At this point, I don't really know. So, but consider that on my videos, most likely going forward, you'll start to get a warning about that because that's the thing. So the whole YouTube thing is they're aiming at gambling. They're aiming at NFTs and gambling. However, when you have a video that's talking about Web3 games and making money with NFTs and buying and selling, that could easily get caught up in the backwash of gambling and NFT games. So I've done what I can do. I've backed up my videos. So, hey, Crypto Beaver, thanks for sending me over some midnight potions. Do appreciate it. I've done what I can do. I've done a physical backup of my videos, and I do need to back up my thumbnails because I don't want to have to go back and recreate those. But if you see a massive change to my account this next week, just know that I'm going through some big changes, and everybody who covers crypto gaming has the possibility of having some videos pulled and stuff, but I did a video on that a couple weeks ago. But just know that we're in that situation and to expect like warnings. So there's that. Thought I'd get that off my chest. Gathering says, I'll buy the cards off the market when players dump them. I've also been buying a few cards here and there because during my process of, excuse me, side effect of drinking a carbonated energy drink is burping once in a while. I know, they're not exactly good for me. I do drink the sugar-free ones, though, if that helps. But anyway, so my preparation going towards the land cards has been buying a little bit of grain and a little bit of wood on a daily basis. I haven't bought any of the other materials. And also a few cards for the purpose of burning and or selling, because I've got to this critical mass point of my account and money spending in that I can't really afford to keep buying new packs to play the game side of the game and also buy stuff for the land because it's just too great of an expense. And so I'm leaning towards the land part of things. So I'm not quitting the game. I'm still keeping my Archmage bots going in. They're still doing pretty good in Wild and everything, and I'm enjoying all the great new things they're putting into the game. It's just logic. You can only afford so much, right? I'm not one of the rich guys on the top end that's buying everything in sight. So, but one thing I did want to mention for those people who are preparing for the land cards is this is only just a small sample of what this is over the last week, and I tried to make it easier. Wow, my head's in the way. Let me take my head down, or let me move this over here. That's better. I don't want to screw up my OBS layout. So yeah, this is just over the last week, and you can see the dark gold represents the cost of grain. I've been buying 100,000 grain each day and 20,000 wood. And you can see that the grain has slowly been going up. When I first started to buy was directly after they announced the cards, and it was 1,346 DEC for 100,000 grain. And the grain I just bought this morning was 1,630 for also 100,000 grain. Now, wood, on the other hand, has just been fiddling around. It has went up and then it's come back down. So it was at 1,086 per 20,000 wood, and then it went up slowly, and then it's back down today. So I just wanted to mention that grain has steadily went up. I haven't been keeping track of the other materials. However, wood is just kind of fiddling around about the same. As always, the market will market. Okay, so I was also over here looking at the costs of the cards, and what I'm looking at, or any of us who are looking at buying these cards or getting these cards, if you want a max level grain card, common, it will be 8 million grain. If you want a max level rare wood card, it will be 3.45 million wood. So lofty a lofty goal to attain. Very expensive cards, and I don't think that when we step back and figure out exactly how much they're going to cost, I don't think these figures are going to be accurate, because I think everything, well, we've proven that grains went up, wood not so much, but the cards have definitely went up. Okay, so let's jump back into chat and see what's going on. Emiwante is here. Good morning to you as well. DeFizz is here in the house. Welcome to Fizz. Gathering says, just like I bought the cheap gold foil common rewards. Hey, Lady Sharon's in the house. Welcome, Sharon. Says, good morning, plugging along, going to mostly listen today, hoping everyone is having a nice weekend. Well, I have a weekend full of chores to do today in preparation for the winter incoming. So I've got some things to do out in the garage and on the side of the house and, under the winter prep category, because last week, it was pretty cold here. And then this week, it kind of heated up. So it's like, I don't know what the weather's doing here. So Gathering says, but now my focus is getting grain for the land card. Yep, same here. Classical Corners here. Can you give a brief summary of what will be required? I'm not up to date. I'm a pretty small landowner. Yeah, we can do a brief summary. And I will leave this link, wrong page. This is the right page. In fact, I will put this into chat. I did a video on this, so you can check my videos from the past week on my channel under the Splinterlands heading playlist. I did a video that discussed about the prices of it. So you can go to this link, and it gives basically all the details. This is an article that one of the people on the team wrote up, and it's very in depth and tells you exactly about it. So basically, we will be able to craft cards, and if you have your land staked out, the first 3 days is set aside for people who have their land staked out, and there's going to be a snapshot taken, and the more production power you have on your land, the more cards you're going to be able to create in that first 3 days, if you want to go to the expense. That's the baseline, right? After those 3 days, anybody can jump in and create these cards. They're going to be limited, and they're going to have some pretty good powers on them. However, the big old fat butt there is the fact that I believe that in certain situations they'll be useful, in certain situations not. I think they will definitely be useful for people who are just dabbling in the land program and they're just starting out, because say for instance this common, if you bring it in just at level 3, it's energized, so you don't have to. Let's go over here to land. Let's get rid of that. Let's see here, production. So let's just go into a random land. Oh, I also bought a new plot of land this week. I found a deal on a plot of a wood producing plot in Ravenwood and Rare, so I bought it. So one of the things you need for your land is a power core, right? And correct me if I'm wrong, but it's $2 or $3, something like that. But if you buy a land card, or if you put together a land card and put it on that land, you don't need to buy that power core. So this is kind of reinforcing that whole statement of mine that if you're new and you got some new land that isn't currently staked out, then a low-end land card could possibly be a good call. And it'll be relatively low production power, but it'll be energized, so you don't have to pay for that core, that power core. Plus, it has rationing, so it's going to reduce the amount of grain that that's required of that plot. And I'm not going to go through and discuss this all because I did a video on it. Gathering did a great video on it, and Aftersound did a video on it, and probably a few others that I'm forgetting. Sorry if I forgot you. But the whole idea is to put together one of these cards, replace one of the cards you have on your land, and it give you some bonuses. But also the takeaway is the production power on these are relatively low. So if you have max level cards and you are staked out completely on your land, then there's also the possibility of these cards reducing your production power on that land plot. You just have to compare the bonuses you're getting, the bountiful grain, which is going to give you a bonus to your grain production. The fact that you can remove the power core off this land that you put the land card on and use it, say, for instance, on another property you're trying to get up and running, or the rationing, which gradually saves you to a certain point up to a maximum of 30% grain usage. And plus, I think what's going to be the biggest bonus is the dark discount, which subtracts 50% of the needed DEC to stake out the land. And I think this is going to be one of the key things, especially with big landholders, because this can save them a lot of DEC. One of the biggest costs involved with staking out your land is the DEC to back up each one of your cards. So if you have a max level card, it doesn't matter if it's a common, legendary gold foil, it's going to cost you 10,000 DEC staked. Okay, that's not an incurred cost because that's just sitting there, it's like in a bank account, but you need that there to be able to harvest 100% of what you make, right? But I firmly think that the dark discount is one of the biggest fringe benefits of having the land card. So I think that if you do land cards, I would strongly think about at least getting it to level 5, this base level one, right? We're just talking about the common one. We don't have time to go through all these. Like I said, there's plenty of discussion videos about it, but the Labor's Luck at max level is kind of interesting. It's intriguing. It's a gambling type thing, right? It's just like back in the day where if you harvested your land, you got a once in a while, you had a very small percentage chance of drawing a totem fragment. Same kind of idea. I don't know if the draw rates are the same. It's probably going to be a very low draw rate, but you have Labor's Luck there where you have a very small percentage chance of actually drawing a gold foil or a black foil land card whenever you harvest. So obviously that's a great benefit. There's a side discussion on, are the percentage chance of actually even drawing one of those with Labor's Luck so minuscule, is it even worth maxing out the cards? So, but my argument is that if you have max level cards on your land, then you're going to need at least a max level land card to replace one of them, because you're going to be taking a production power hit. Okay, let's go ahead and jump back into chat. Paul Taylor's here. Welcome. Let's go back to land. I bought a rare this week in Ravenwood, and I have a common. Actually, the one I bought was iron. I said wood. It's a mountain. It produces iron. And what I want to do is I want to go ahead and do my claim, and then I have a common mountain staked out. I want to remove my cards and everything from that. And of course, I have to wait the turnaround time, 2 or 3 days, whatever it is. And then I can stake out in rare and the rare plot and be producing at a higher level. So I hope that helps out, Classical Corner. Take that link and go ahead and check it out. It'll give you all the details. Salt, Lady Sharon. What about salt? Joffrey, we'll get to that here in a minute, Sharon. Joffrey says, I think I'm officially done with this game. Everything is ridiculous prices. Put all my modern cards on the market. Well, yeah. I mean, everybody has to make their own logical decisions. And I can agree with you. Everything is very expensive. Anytime they bring out something new, it is very expensive. Now, the argument for this is the majority of the expense on the land cards isn't going to the company. It's still incurred by the user, right? And that's what I talk about. But I can see what you're saying. I mean, everybody has to make their own. Find out how you enjoy playing the game. If you don't, or if you're in a position of no longer enjoying it or no longer being able to afford to it, then you have to make some decisions. So let's go ahead and dive into the desalinization process. Joffrey says, whatever happened to Steve R? He pops up every once in a while. He's playing another game I play, Atlas Earth. He started that. Gathering says he had some real life things going on. I think his house flooded a while ago and he's dealing with that. Yeah, I heard that. Lady Sharon says the land thing is too complicated for me to figure out right now. Unfortunately, I have the whole other real life things going on, so I just want to coast in this game. Yeah, that's completely understandable. A lot of people get turned off. Let me just pull that back. Let me say I get turned off by a game when it gets overly complicated. That's why Splinterlands to me has gotten to the point where it's very complicated to me, and that's also the point why I got out of the, Magic the Gathering, right? Because it became overcomplicated. And that's why I'm trying to concentrate on the land game. Let's go back to what I wanted to talk about was the desalinization process, which is a thing that's going to come in Land 2.0, which is currently being worked on. Haven't heard any update as far as, he's been working on the land cards lately. So after that, then he'll get back to working the overall 2.0. But let's take a look at it. And I'm not going to read through the whole thing. You can look up the Phase 2 Secret of Praetoria. It's they got a Gitbook article on it. Each region on the continent of Praetoria contains critical infrastructure that aids with the production, storage, and movement of resources within that region. The taxes and fees that are collected from resource production and other activities that take place within each region go towards maintaining that infrastructure. However, maintaining the infrastructure is particularly difficult due to the extremely high salt content present in the soil and waters of the continent. To me, as soon as I heard about this, this just screamed to me, oh, it's another level of cost, okay? As we read through this, you're going to see my take on this is it's kind of like a teamwork effort to reduce the taxes in the area. However, my basic take on this is you can't count on the team, okay? And the team being the other people who have land staked out in your region. Especially if you have a lot of plots in that region, you may be one of the few inputs of the salt process, desalinization process of that region, and taking on a great expense up front to desalinate, whatever the word is, desalt the area to pay less taxes, etc., for everybody. But it comes down to, are you paying more to do that versus what you're saving on the back end? So let's go ahead and go further. If you have anything to say, go ahead and drop it in chat, and we'll try to get to it here in a minute. Lucky scholars have recently discovered a way to harness dark energy, read DEC, into a new type of crystal with a unique chemical structure that can extract salt from whatever it is around. Players will be able to create or otherwise acquire these new desalinization crystals, just exactly what we need, another token. But, somebody pointed out this last week that wait until 2.0 comes out because there's going to be like 50 different new tokens. So what's one more, So more complication, Players will be able to create or otherwise acquire these new desalinization crystals and contribute them to their region to remove the excess salt content from the soil and water. This makes the infrastructure less costly to maintain, which allows players with land plots within the region to pay lower taxes and fees, as well as to enjoy increased production from their land. Okay, so players who have staked out land can create the desalinization crystals, okay, and contribute them in teamwork effort overall to reduce the salt in the region, okay? Now, it doesn't really say how they will be created. It does specifically mention dark energy, which means there's going to be a DEC cost to this. Whether it's staking or all-out burn cost, it's still up in the air. This also mentions that the result of desalinization is that you're going to save money on taxes and fees, as well as enjoy increased production on your land. So the lower the salinization rate, the higher the production on your land, of course, to a certain level. Okay, desalinization crystals are a special resource that will be able to be purchased using a fixed amount of DEC or vouchers. There you go. There's our cost right there. You're going to be able to pay in DEC or vouchers, but there's going to be a cost. And they will also be available to be earned through various activities within the broader Splinterlands universe, such as in loot chests, with from ranked battles or from guild participation. So there's 3 ways to earn desalinization crystals. Okay, so they're gonna stick them in chests. They're gonna have them as a random drop within ranked battles, which is interesting because at this point, I don't think we've had anything as a random drop from winning a ranked battle. It's just been glint and SPS, right? So that's interesting. Okay, so and from guild participation. So you're also going to be able to earn desalinization crystals from participating in brawls when they do the whole. It might be added before they redo the brawls. I don't know. They will be transferable, which means bought and sold. You can buy them and sell them within the internal market, just like many other land resources. The exact details around the cost of desalinization crystals and the methods for earning them in game are still TBD. Just scanning chat to see if anybody had. Tarab the Bold says, I do hope they ditch the whole salt mechanic. It's too convoluted. Okay, so here are the benefits. In order to contribute DC, which is desalinization crystals, to a region's infrastructure projects, a player must own or be renting at least 1 plot in that region. All players owning or renting land in a particular region will receive the following benefits, which will be inversely proportional to the salinization rate in the region. So you will get a reduced tax rate from 15% down to 7.5. So right now, we're paying the max rate. The tax rate can go down if you have max level reduction to 7.5, which is half of the normal. Reduced market swap fees from 10% down to 5. So, if you trade grain or if you trade resources around, you're going to save on the tax rate and swap fees. Reduced storage rental costs, which we haven't even got into the storage part of land. And I'm not even going to talk about that, but there is a new a thing within the white paper that talks about you only being able to hold a certain amount of resources on a plot of land and needing other plots of land with storage on them, whether you rent it out or what have you. I don't know where they are in the process there, but they talked about this. So reduction of storage costs, which hasn't been implemented yet, and a production boost, up to 50% boost, okay? So that's a great boost, right? So there's a lot of factors here to figure out whether the cost incurred, of course, you can look at it superficially or from the top and say, hey, I'm going to earn these in chests and through guild brawls and stuff. But depending upon the numbers needed, you most likely you're going to have to buy them. Buy some of them. You're going to have some from actually playing the game to be able to contribute, but you're going to end up buying some. Okay, and the final little bit on this is the desalinization process produces salt as a byproduct, which will be represented in-game as salt tokens. Great, another token. That's exactly what we need. There will be a maximum fixed amount of salt tokens available to be extracted from each region every day, and the amount that is actually extracted will be determined by whether or not there are enough desalinization crystals available in that region. If the maximum daily amount of DC are available in the region for a day, allowing the salinization rate, had to figure out what SR was, to drop by 2% or be maintained at 0%, then the maximum amount of salt will be extracted from the region that day. Otherwise, proportionally thus, the salt tokens will be distributed to all players who have contributed DC to that region over the past 30 days in proportion to the amount. So yeah, what are the salt tokens worth? What are they used for? I don't know. So we're going through this whole process. You'll be able to get some of the desalinization crystals through various modes of playing the game, through guild, through chess, and random drops through just playing the game in ranked battles. And you can use those, or you can sell them, or buy them or sell them on the market, right? But you more than likely, depending upon how heavy you want to get into this, are probably going to have to buy them off the market to be able to, try and reduce the salinization rate in your region, especially if you have a lot of plots in that region. So the idea is, how much is it going to cost versus how much it returns, because you're going to get a better production rate. That's the main thing I see there. Yeah, the taxes and the swap fees are going down, but I think that the production rate is going to be the major bonus there. And then you're going to get a salt token back, or whatever number of salt tokens back. But what are the salt tokens worth? Theoretically, they sound like they're going to be bought, sold, traded on the market, but what are they to be used for? I don't know. Okay, let me jump back into chat. Snowball says, when is salt happening? That'll be land 2.0. That's not until the future. After land cards are put out, then he'll get back to working on land 2.0 as far as I know. Okay, let's see here. Let's go back. Okay, so that was my spiel on salt. Let me know in the comments. It's something that up front I didn't really like the idea of, because it's complicated. It adds a whole couple levels of complication to the game, and more than likely adds some more expense to the land game, which is also already incredibly expensive. So the idea is to play the game and earn these desalinization crystals, hopefully, and then turn around and use them in your regions to hopefully, in a team effort in that region, contribute to reduce your salt, so it increases what you produce and reduces your taxes. That's the idea. However, I know in play terms that more than likely people are going to, instead of contribute the salt tokens, the desalinization tokens to their land in the region, they're probably just going to turn around and dump them on the market. So that makes some of us who actually want to try to play through the game and help the salinization rate in our regions bear the brunt of the expense. And then a lot of people are just looking at the profit margin, so they're going to get their desalinization crystals and just dump them on the market. That's what I foresee. Am I crazy? I don't know. Let me know. Lady Sharon says, some of the stuff with resources is starting to sound as complicated as the board games that I play with friends as part of our anime Sunday every week. Yeah, I mean, it's getting... And we're not even talking about all the other stuff in Land 2.0. If you're interested, just look up this Phase 2 Secret of Praetoria white paper. Well, I guess I put the link in the chat earlier, but you can check out all the different topics, because there was so much promised with land as far as where land is going and what the overall end goal was between making cards and making spells and things like that, which the spells would indicate, an evolution of the game. And we've seen the game move in that direction, definitely. But the land is moving in that direction. But as we get there, it's becoming super complicated, and there are going to be, just like other land games, any other game, even if it's just not even a card game or a CRPG or something like that, you have to go out and you have to mine wood. And then with that, you have to turn it into something second level product. And then you have to use those to turn into a third level product. And the higher you go, the more complicated you get. Also, the more expensive it gets. and what you produce theoretically would make you more money. The profit margin would go up, right? But at a certain point, you got to figure out, well, where do I want to sit in this chain? Maybe I'm happy just producing wood, stone based materials and selling them on the market. Maybe I don't want to be any more complicated than that. Or maybe I want to produce grain and then go to the second level production and produce the specialized food for each type of land, which gives you a better, less usage and stuff. So we've talked about this stuff in the past, and it's just getting much more complicated. I like the lane game. That's why I'm leaning that way. But I don't think, I don't know. I guess I don't guess. I'm a pessimist. I look at the way I've played games in the past and the outcomes I've found. And since this is a process that depends upon teamwork to reduce the salt in the area, I can foresee people just dumping the tokens and taking the profit that they get, because overall it's much easier. Now, if I'm proven wrong, and the whole desalinization process, when you do the numbers, I'm sure there's some other people that'll do the numbers. I'm sure Gathering will do that. He likes to do those math videos. Whenever the full details come out, it might be worth it. Who knows? I hope so. But a lot of people say I'm cautiously optimistic. Well, I'm cautiously pessimistic. Emmy Wanty says new jackpot cards aren't until Tuesday. Oh yeah, there were some new skins released this week. Let's go to the shop, rewards. I didn't buy any, frankly, because I don't think, I might have a Gablano Soldier, but I don't play him often enough. I have a 1 BCX of Dargotum, but like I said, since it's only 1 BCX, it doesn't get used much. I might turn around and rent. I was talking about last week. I was talking about my thought process on, should I burn cards or should I sell them? Like if I have 1 BCX of a legendary and it never gets used, why not sell it, right? Well, somebody had also posted, well, try to rent it. So I did try to rent some. Let's go in and see how that's going. Let's clear this. Let's go to for rent. Okay, these are the cards I put up for rent. I don't know why I put that one up, but either way, I put the Riskrell Drath up. Looks like it rented out for just shy of 20 DEC a day. I put the Rick Luneman up. It did not rent out. Put the Elias Max Pruitt up. It did not rent out. The Grimal, the Hunger, it also did not rent out. And this guy did not rent out. So out of 5 cards I put up for rent, only 1 of them rented out. But, you know, it's getting me about 20 DEC a day for what that's worth. So I guess also worth mentioning is here, well, I was going to say a while back, but a long while back, at the beginning of February, I put some DEC into Splinter Trader, and it's been doing pretty good. I'm up to 475K. I put 350 in. So I've made a pretty good profit going. I'm going to let this come up to 500K, and then I'm going to start withdrawing. And all the DEC that I make profit off of this service is just going to go straight into my land. So I thought that was worth mentioning. So I am making DEC. It's not within Splinterlands as a whole, but it is within the buying and selling of the Splinterlands cards, basically. So, and like I said, I stopped. I was selling, you know, I should go over to land. I was selling some, a little bit of wood and grain on a weekly basis, making a few bucks here, a few bucks there. But when they made the announcement about the land cards, I stopped selling and just started holding, right? Let's take a look. I do need to go ahead and do a claim here. So let's go ahead and get my claim sheet up. Getting prepared. Let's see what everybody's saying here. Gathering says, I think they will probably come out with permanent buildings and refined resources next. Salt will be one of the last things along with items and spells. You think? Beaker says, well, no skins for me. I didn't buy any either. Wibble says, anything exciting happening this week? Well, I think the land cards are kind of exciting. I just hope they rethink the numbers. Gathering the Magic says, the main thing with Splinterlands, play at whatever level you can. Don't worry about getting everything to max level. You don't have to max things out. Play and enjoy the game. Have fun. I agree. You can play at different levels. OFG says, question, wouldn't it be more beneficial for the player to lower their tax rate in the region for higher profit margins? It would if the costs associated with doing that is not more than what you actually save. Hey, Arbin's here. Welcome, Arbin. A good supporter of the channel. Thanks for dropping by. Gathering the Magic says, Splinter Trader has been a great passive DEC income for me. Nice. Yeah, same here. And Lady Sharon was asking about Splinter Trader. Yeah, Lady Sharon, it's a website that you can, it's a tool that you can buy and sell cards with. It's a bot that buys and sells cards for a little bit of profit with each buy and sell. You can take DEC and you can stake it. So you can send some DEC over there, stake it, and then it uses that DEC to buy and sell trade cards, buy and sell cards, and then you earn a small portion, depending upon a portion of that profit. Let's go back. I had swapped off of that, but so like I see, my share of the daily profit is 1.04%. Okay, and the annualized return on interest is 25.5%. But it buys and sells cards, and then you make money, make DEC on that. Once again, not investment advice. Okay, but since the end of February when I started, I've made 350, 450, about 125,000 DEC. So makes a little bit each day. Okay, let's go ahead and do a harvest all. This is on my land in Veritas, region number 1. So we will claim all. Yeah, I saw they started, everybody in chat's talking about the Grand Prix. I saw that, but due to things happening this week, I have not been able to invest any time into that. I know I should probably support somebody, but I've got so much going on at work. They just had the third round of layoffs this year. After the second round in the middle of the summer, they said they weren't going to do any more layoffs. This was a sneak round. And I'm still left, but I'm also now doing the job of almost 3 people. Okay. So let's not complain too much. Be thankful that I'm still left for now. But okay, we got 15, had 48, almost 49,000 grain, and we got 15,006, 58 wood. Okay, 0.018. Okay, that's one region. Now, let's go. I did not make any changes to these first 2 regions. The third region, Ravenwood, I do need to make a change in this week. Let's do a harvest all. I do need, as usual, 5,600 stone. I wish a stone property would come up in Tostrington that was of decent price, a good deal. Okay, so let's go ahead and do 6,000 in Tostrington. I haven't forgot about giving out cards. I am going to give out a couple cards towards when we wrap things up. So don't worry. Thanks. I appreciate you stopping by. I just okay. So the stone is 511 DEC. Once again, I usually swapped my extra grain for the stone, but now I've just kept piling the grain, amassing, other words. Okay, so let's go ahead and just do my claim all. And we'll get back to chat here in a minute. 40,737 grain. I have the majority, I have all the plots in this region staked out pretty well. It's just the third region I'm in, Ravenwood, which needs some work. And by work, I mean more DEC and more cards. I also have a land claim, like the original type of land claim that's never been land claimed yet. And this was sent over from Blaze a couple months ago. I just haven't had, I wanted to do a video on it from the process from beginning to end, that, you know, how to buy the, you know, what's involved and everything, which I have covered in the past, but it would just take a lot of time. Oh, hey, thanks. Gathering the Magic just sent me over some stone. Thank you, sir, very much. Let me know if you need anything. If I can help out. 505 iron. And I'm still producing aura, and it's still stacking up, and I haven't used it for much. What's the most economical thing to do with aura to turn around and make a little money? That's what I want to know. There's several things you can make with it now. And I was thinking about this earlier. The wagon kits only really make sense around the time, the end of like a drop, and people are going to need wagon kits. Or maybe I'm wrong there. Okay. Let's go back. And Gathering says, I have surplus of stone in my region. Well, nice. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let me know if there's anything in particular I can pay you back with there. Okay, let's go back. And okay, so this is the region I bought, is my biggest region. I like the sound of it, Ravenwood, right? And I also like the fact that Nate has a fair amount of property in this area too, as far as I know. I haven't went back, and I'm not like stalking him, but when I first bought into this region, I saw he had a bunch. He might have sold it off, but you see a nice selection of commons and rares I bought, and most of these I bought over time, where I found a deal like this last one, what I considered a deal. A mountain popped up this week. It's a rare mountain. It was a $24. Okay. It was a rare mountain. It had a functioning building on it, which means it was producing ore, which means that basically if you buy the land with the building on it, that saves you about, I don't know, $7 to $10 somewhere, and it saves you the time in making it as well. And it also had building in a box, which still has something to offer to people when we get to land 2.0. So my idea here is I'm going to do the claim, and then in 3 days, I'm going to take the cards off of this common right here. I have this common fully staked out, and I'm going to take all the cards and everything off of it and put it onto here. And going forward with the land cards, this got me thinking. I have a few plots of land that have nothing on them. Maybe some low-level land cards will help out in this situation. Let's go ahead and do the claim all. I need 3,200 here, so we'll get 3,200 in Ravenwood. And I enjoy this kind of gameplay. I do. It's just don't want it to become overly complicated. And of course, just with anything, I want to make a little profit off of it. I don't want to be in the situation where it's costing so much and I'm not making a profit off it. You might say, well, hey, look, you're making this profit off of it on a weekly basis. Sure, but I've put a couple $1,000s into this already, right? So getting back a few bucks a week, sure. I mean, it's money coming back, but it's not exactly in the profit column, right? Okay, so let's go ahead and claim all. And then we'll go into remove those cards. Okay, so we got 81,000 grain here. Once again, thanks everybody for stopping by and discussing a little bit of Splinterlands, mostly land, because that was kind of, it's been my focus since I really heard about it. But it's taken quite a while for them to develop it, right? So we're getting there. And finally, 1,700 aura. I was thinking about stopping this land from producing ore and going back to iron. I haven't done the change yet, though. So I'm up around, I don't know how much ore I have. Let's go back. Okay. There we are. Okay, let's go back to chat. Thank you for hanging in there with me. Oh, you know what I forgot is exactly what I was talking about. No, not that card. Well, while we're here, how's everybody doing on the Loving the Moo? Let's see here. I have 899 chances so far. No guaranteed because the guaranteed level went way up. I wanted to get at least one of these because he's one of the head guys in my guild. So he's been pretty good to get along with in the guild. Not that I interface with him much, but let's go ahead and he or she, I don't know if it's a he or she, but we need to go into Ravenwood and then remove. Let's go here. And remember, I say this every time because I want people new to the game. Remember, before you make any changes on land, make sure you do a claim. Okay, let's go ahead and manage. And what we're going to do is we're just going to remove all this. Clear all. So I'm going to be adding these cards, which are all commons, gold foil maximum level, to that rare plus a totem. In about 3 days. So, and my iron rate here, I still don't like that long of a turnaround time, but what am I going to do about it? Just complain. I understand you can't have them automatically switch over, and I'm sure they did the numbers in the background, but it's just kind of a pain if you're a big landholder and you want to change cards around. It's kind of a pain. Okay, so yeah, the whole idea was I cleared this land. It will sink to the bottom, and then in 3 days I will take and put those cards on my rare land that I picked up and be producing about 10% more on that land. Gathering the Magic says, if you just want to use aura to craft, then midnight potions or unbinding scrolls are your options. I would say epic or legendary scrolls might be good to make. I haven't even looked into those. We talked about, the details when they came out, but I just haven't looked into production. I haven't done the midnight potions. I have been using midnight potions, but last time I did the numbers, I could buy the potions off the market for cheaper than I was actually producing them on my own land. Emmy says, wow, you were 30 away from guaranteed at the start, though. Snowball says, going to get 12 moves guaranteed. Nice. but also says not sure how good a card the Moo is really. Yeah, I was just going to get the card to kind of get the card. I once again, I also did not don't know exactly how good that card is going to be. Um, Let me pull this up. I think it's in. We took a look at it when they announced it. It was under eye candy. Trying to find it if he's got it under the eye candy section. He's got a lot in eye candy. If you haven't checked the eye candy section in Discord, he's dropped a lot of cards lately. No, I'm not seeing it. I also had an idea that I have some. I know I'm skipping around on ideas here, but the idea came to me. I bought some nicer. Why is this not resetting? Oh, I have to change this. Owned. Um, let's go to Legendary Dragons. I bought some nicer cards. Like, I think the idea of the Vigilator is it's a cool card, and Dragon Jumper and Diamond Dragon. Of course, I like dragons, but they're the fact of the matter is they're cool cards, but they're just not used in my wild play all that much. So the idea occurred to me: why not just stick them on land, right? So this one has 3,000 production power um, before whatever bonuses it'll get. So it'd probably be up around 6,000 or something production power. Um, Same thing. So just kind of scanning through here. Yeah, so I think I might end up putting some of these cards on my land just so they can be doing something. Now, Robo Knight does work out in matches. I think this is a often overlooked card. It is relatively expensive to get out there, but 5 damage, 8 shield, 10 health, 3 speed, void, divine shield, piercing, return fire, and magic reflect. What a tank. A tank and a half. I think a lot of people overlook. The reason why I'm talking about this is the market on buying cards for staking on land as well as burning for the upcoming land cards has just really just kept going up. I mean, all you have to do is listen to Gatherings bi-weekly, I think it's bi-weekly, land, or he switches weekends. He does land cards or he does land review, the market review on land, and then the market review on cards, and switches up. All you have to do is listen to that, and you see the cards just have went way up. So if I go into one of the main things that I was targeting over the years of just the core Chaos Legion gold foil, I was buying commons, right? And let's go to max level. Okay, so a lava spider is now $6.30, and there's only one on the market as far as max goes. Radiant Scorcher, no. Market. Radiated Brute, once again, only one max available. 670. You can see how the prices have continually gone up. When I first started buying these are around $3 or $4 for the commons, maxed out. And then my evolution has been upgrading my commons to rares, and you can see that I don't know what happened. Anyway, all the cards have continued to go up. Oh, Gathering says he's got the land market watch queued up for tomorrow. Emmy says, thanks to Sharon's wishes, I managed 3. That's huge for my luck. She gets a Frontier pack for the kind wishes. Oh, nice. Gathering says only 1 or 2 max gold foil chaos commons before they go up to $20. Yeah. What's going to happen is you've now got the traders involved, because it was at a point where just land people who are playing land were buying the cards. Now the people who are the traders who are buying and flipping these, in other words, buying them for $6 and putting them back up for $20, that kind of thing. Okay, it looks like Gathering the Magic has the #1 crown in chat today. So, Gathering, let me know. You will get 1 BCX of the Arena Fanatic and 1 BCX of a pickle. Let me know in chat what account you want that sent to, and I will send them over after we're over here. We're about ready to wrap up here. But thanks everybody for hanging out and discussing. Okay, I will send it to Jovac. So thanks a lot. Once again, Gathering the Magic's been attending these ever since we started. So I greatly appreciate the support, and check out his videos too, because he goes into more numbers, details, and analysis that I do. He's very much better at that than I am. Paul says, Paul gets the last word here. Does everyone have the cinder they need? Well, we need to have a bunch of cards to burn for the cinder. So Wibble says, I shall call him Gathering the Pickle from now on. Okay. Thanks everybody for hanging out for a little while. I hope everyone has a great week. And as always, I'll see you next week. Same bat time, same bat channel. Until then, have a great week, and I'll see you in Splinterlands.